about the activities that we carried, I think probably the most interesting and had a lasting effect on me was the student movement. Why the student movement? Because I also participated to a very, in a very not so, I wasn't very, very involved in community politics in Chile. Other comrades were at the time, and they were looking after that front, but I was slightly involved in that, but not really a lot. So I didn't learn much from that experience. Then I was involved in the trade union movement as well, but the trade union movement was in a frank crisis, so there was not much happening. But the student movement, the second part of the 90th and early 21st century, was a movement that actually had the capacity to call for national protests, and it put us anarchists at the front of a big social movement. We were doing sometimes assemblies with 3,000 students, and we had to speak with them, work with them, organize with them, and that really gave me a sense of, whoa, this is a mass movement. That's how a mass movement looks like. So I said that the student activism in Chile was very important in my own political formation. And then here, Ireland is an interesting country because it's a country with not much of social movements as such, or at least not the same way we know them back at home in Chile or elsewhere in South America as well. But in Ireland, I said that it's been very important for me, the community politics, the solidarity work, because I've been working with that an awful lot with our Latin American community here. That's very small, but at the same time it shows you how important it is sometimes to, if you want to mobilize people for whatever change, no matter how little it is, to take into account what people think or feel and try to mediate between quarreling groups. I mean, community politics is a whole different kind of a cup of tea from a trade union or wherever you have more uniform group in one way or another. And work as well with immigrants here. I participated in a big drive to unionize Brazilian workers, and that was really interesting because it mixed the trade union work with community work as well. So I would say that those are the most interesting stuff I did. And then apart from that, I think it's very important to work in anarchist journalism, to call it somehow, but in Anarchism we've been very serious about trying to turn it into a real information project, something that is not aimed for anarchists, something that people can come and can look at news or political analysis from a libertarian perspective, but something that is not actually designed for, as we say, internal consumption of other anarchists, but something that people can read and can understand the anarchist insight on things without being shoved anarchism down the throat, you know what I mean? And I think that it's been very successful in many ways. At least a lot of people that came to anarchism looking for news, in the end became anarchists. We can name a couple of comrades in Syria, we can name a couple of comrades in Colombia and other parts.